Hello and welcome back to the Friday MLB DFS slate breakdown for April 25th. We got a big slate to go over today and we're going to dive right into it. I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar. We do have a 7-day free trial through the app stores, Android or iOS. You can get 7 free days. Download it, try us out, get your days. Stay for a subscription, start doing the monthly, or step up to the yearly. Just come join us. Now, let's dive into it. We're going to start by a little bit of a review. We're not going to do quite as big a review because DraftKings only had a 3-game slate and FanDuel was a 4-game slate, but I got to talk about a special winner. So we're going to dive into that first here and getting into the old perfect lineup on FanDuel. So, what do we got here? Yesterday's perfect lineup, Cade Pavich. Should have saw this one coming because I wanted to stack against him, but he had himself a day. 6.2 innings, 5 Ks, 1 earned run. It was enough. 42 when paying down. Gore put up 40. And he was a little more expensive, so it makes sense that Pavich was showing up. Then we had a 2-man Angel stack, 2-man Rangers, 2-man Rays with the O'Neill Cruz bomb that got him in there. So 229 was the perfect score. The winner went to ATL Blackbird, 139.9. Mackenzie Gore put up 40. 4-man Tampa Bay, and 3-man Angels with a one-off of Corbin Carroll. That is, I believe, the second day in a row that it was a 4-3 with a one-off of Corbin Carroll. So congrats to ATL Blackbird. You had a day. And then I want to shout out Aaron, 9500, who got second place. Good old LineStar sub. You love to see it. He went with Corbin Burns. Got him 37 points. Then a 2-man stack with Arizona, 2-man stack with the Angels here, and 3 one-offs. Congrats to you, Aaron. You love to see it. Let's see some more out of you soon. Now, let's get into the perfect, or the slate at hand, if you will. So, starting on DraftKings, as always, high-owned pitcher, 22% owned, Pablo Lopez, 8,500. Look, for the quality of pitcher that Pablo Lopez is, 85 is absolutely underpriced. Now, he is versus the Angels. It is a tough matchup, and Lopez hasn't been all that great so far this season. He has got a 3.16 FIP over his last 20 starts with 25% K rate, but over the last 5, 4.45 FIP, only a 21.6% K rate. The StatCast data, however, looks terrific. Definitely interested in Pablo in this spot. And then if we look at the splits for the Angels, they are striking out a decent amount versus righties. The average is low, but they do hit the ball very hard. 191 ISO over the last 150 games, 250 over the last 20 games. They're hitting the ball hard. The BVP data is meh. 54 plate attempts, 4 home runs, a 300 ISO is fairly high, but 33% K rate. I see this one going, either way. There's absolutely a chance that the Angels line one up and hit a home run off Lopez, but hey, as long as nobody's on base, that doesn't hurt you too much. Combined K rate 24.1. I'm fine with some Pablo Lopez. He isn't one of the top pitchers I will be going after today, but I definitely will be using him, and he is in that mix. Next, we got Yamamoto, 10.5K, 5-star alert score, 20% owned, at home versus the Dodgers. A total of only 7. This is Yamamoto versus Skeens. This looks like it's going to be one pitcher duel here. Yamamoto has been absolutely insane. 2.91 FIP over his last 20 is good. 2.33 over his last 5 is great, and that is coming with a 34% K rate. Guy is striking people out left and right, and I'm absolutely interested in some Yamamoto on this in this spot versus Pittsburgh. StatCast data looks good, not allowing much soft contact, but guy's missing so many bats. I don't even really care about that. Opponent team splits. Pittsburgh is absolutely hitting righties decently. 267 average, 146 ISO, little low, 21% K rate is fine. All in all, we got a combined K rate of 28. He's in a good spot. I don't mind some Yamamoto at home when he's been absolutely on fire lately. Sign me up. Next, we got Logan Gilbert, 10.2K, 17% owned, 4.5 star alert score here. Now, one thing I want to point out is that he does have almost a full 3-point projection higher than anybody else on this slate. And then if you look at the consensus, it's over 2-point higher than anybody. I think Gilbert is in an absolutely great spot at home versus the Miami Marlins, who haven't been good versus righties. He has a 238 FIP over his last 5 with a 38% K rate. Then over the last 20, 33% K rate and a 292 FIP. I think Logan Gilbert is in just an amazing spot at a nice pitcher-friendly park. He is better at home, averaging 26.7% more fantasy points at home. Splits are in his favor, 31.2% combined K rate. I love the spot for Gilbert, and I think he should be the highest owned pitcher tonight. He will likely be my highest owned at least. Severino, 8K, 16% owned. I don't mind a little Sevy. He's in a good spot versus the White Sox. My issue is the upside. He just doesn't have a whole ton of upside. So if you're going with Severino, your other pitcher better have some real high upside. I don't mind Sevy, but not my first priority. And the White Sox absolutely have actually been hitting him pretty good. 62 plate attempts. They're hitting 418 off of him. It was 2 years ago. He got roughed up a bit. All right, let's talk some pivots here. Michael King, 9,500, 21-point projection versus the Tampa Bay Rays. Rays been hitting pretty well. The last 20 splits look really good for them. The last 150, meh. Now, I think the last 20 do hold some real solid weight here because they have so many young guys in this lineup that we don't have a whole 150 game splits for a lot of these guys. So, Michael King is in a little bit of a tough spot, but he has a giant ceiling. He's averaging 24 more fantasy points per game at home. We got a 2.86 FIP over the last 20 starts on 28% K rate. These numbers are right up there with Gilbert and Yamamoto. Slightly less strikeout upside, but not a ton. And then over the last 5, he's been good. 3.55 FIP, 27% K rate. I'm absolutely fine going with Michael King. I think he's in an interesting spot, and he's a nice low-owned pivot that is probably a little underpriced. Another guy that's a little underpriced, Chris Sale. He is in a very tough spot today versus the Diamondbacks, but the Diamondbacks have not been as good versus lefties. 239 average, only a 92 ISO, but they're not striking out very much. Now, Sale, we know, has huge strikeout stuff. Hasn't fully got it going this year. He has a 6.17 ERA over these 5 starts so far this year, but that's with a 3.97 FIP. So he's been pitching much better than the ERAs show. The strikeouts are still there. He's at 29%. I'm interested in a little bit of a pivot, super low owned Sale in this spot. It is not a slam dunk spot, but the upside's there to take some. Paul Skeens, we kind of got to talk about. He's 10K. He has been absolutely electric since his debut. He's been better away, but he is just versus the Dodgers. He's going to have to miss some bats to really be an option. I just don't think he has the ceiling as some of the other guys on this slate, and that's why I don't have him liked here. Seth Lugo, 7,200. Look, for the quality of pitcher that Lugo is, he's under priced here. He hasn't been great this year. 5.57 FIP over his last 5 starts, but he has a 3.92 over his last 20. Lugo's thing, his K rate is always a little low. Wind is blowing in today, so that does favor him. But he is efficient, works deep into games, so that K rate, while it's low, can act a little bit higher just because he's going to see more batters than most. Splits are in his favor. The BVP data, real poor against him. Houston has kind of crushed him, but last time out, he went 7 innings, 1 earned run, 9 Ks. So we do have an upside versus him. 7,200, I'm fine having a little bit of him. I think he's a little too cheap for this spot. Quick last two that I wanted to point out. Zach Gallen versus the Braves. Tough spot for Gallen, but he's only 7,800, and this is a pitcher that should be in the 9 or 10 Ks. So I'm a little interested in just taking that discount pricing and see what he can do. He's good enough to shut down any offense. Next, Hayden Wesniewski. We've talked about him a little bit this season because the Astros have been so good about turning pitchers around. He's been decent this year. 3.91 FIP, striking out 9.78 batters per 9. 3.91 ERA. Over his last 5 starts, he has a 4.83 FIP. So slightly elevated, maybe pitching a little over his head right now, but it's a very interesting spot versus the Royals. He does bring some strikeout upside, 26% over the last 20, 27% over the last 5. And then the opponent team splits is the thing here. The Royals have just not been good. 2.22 average with 100 ISO versus righties over the last 23% K rate. I am fine with a little bit of Wesniewski. He's low owned. He's a little interesting. Getting over to FanDuel, our high owned, we got Logan Gilbert. That's how I think it should be. Yamamoto, 10.8K. Also, probably my second favorite. Michael King, very interested in him as a pivot. Pablo Lopez is a great pivot on FanDuel at 8.7. You're saving, a decent amount of salary. He's in a good spot. Definitely interested with him. And the fact that Seth Lugo is only 7,500 to me is a little bit interesting in this spot. I don't mind getting a little bit of him. He can go 7 innings, strike out 6, and, allow 0 to 1 runs and definitely be able to compete with some of these guys if they are just slightly off their game. My issue with going down and paying for Lugo here is that we have 5-6 pitchers that have a huge ceiling. Chances of one of them hitting that ceiling or, having a very good game is probably pretty high. So, there's definitely some opportunity cost you're leaving on the table with Lugo, but you're saving a lot of cash, so you can definitely pay up there. Now, let's get over to some stacks that we can talk about here on DraftKings. So, high-owned stack, Seattle versus Cal Quintrall. Quintrall has not been good yet. 6.05 FIP over his last 20, 6.75 over his last 5. Seattle makes some sense. The warning here, a very pitcher-friendly park, and they haven't really been producing at home, so I don't totally love Seattle. Don't mind a little bit of them. Cincinnati versus Kyle Freebaum. It is in Colorado. Think you got to consider them. There is a little weather to watch there, but you got a Colorado game versus Freeland. Now, Freeland has been very, very good to start this season, but I do expect there to be some regression. I don't think he can hold a 2.69 FIP. Guy has been electric so far this year. Toronto versus Carlos Carrasco. Absolutely love it versus Carrasco. Carrasco is just, frankly, not that good. He's allowing 2.07 fantasy points per plate attempt over the last 20 starts, and he has a 5.96 FIP over the last 5. Definitely can pick on him. And I like that spot a lot. Our highest projected stacks, we got Cincinnati versus Freeland. Look, if you look over the last 20 starts, picking on Freeland has generally been a good thing. I don't mind doing that in Colorado today. Now, highest value stacks, we got Miami versus Gilbert. Really don't love it. Doubtful that I would go a 5-man stack versus Gilbert. 2 or 3-man stacks, I don't mind doing that. Miami has some bats that can definitely get it done. Texas versus Verlander. Look, Texas probably going to have to put up some points here versus Verlander. The Giants' offense has been hitting decently. The issue, pitcher-friendly park, 7.5 game total, but there's enough speed/power on Texas that I don't mind taking a little bit of them. Kyle Hendricks versus Minnesota's popping up. Hendricks is, a boom-bust type pitcher. He has some games where he really limits runs, does a great job, and then another where he absolutely gets lit up. So don't mind a little bit of Minnesota. Won't go hard on him. White Sox versus Severino. They have some really good BVP data, so that's pretty much all I would want to go there for. Boston versus Ben Lively. 4.73 FIP over his last 20, 4.18 over his last 5. It's in Cleveland. We do have to worry about some weather, but I think this game in general could play up offensively if the game goes without a delay or anything like that. Milwaukee versus Liberatore. Milwaukee keeps kind of getting it done. Don't absolutely love going against Liberatore, but you could do worse. Dodgers versus Paul Skeens. I mean, the ceiling's obviously there because it's the Dodgers, but it's a very tough spot versus Skeens. But you're not going to get Dodgers ownership at that very often. Now, high leverage, we got the Braves versus Gallen. Fine having some Braves. Gallen hasn't really been good for the last year and a half. 4.99 FIP over the last 5, 3.96 over the last 20. Angels versus Lopez. Fine sprinkling that in. Giants versus Evaldi, I think, is very interesting. This Giants offense has been hitting very, very well. Evaldi is another guy that is boom or bust. Now, 3.02 FIP over his last 5. He's been dealing 3.7 over his last 20. We know he's a good pitcher, but he has blow-up games. Don't mind trying a little bit there, but I would not go very hard on it. Now, high implied run total, teams tab, the A's versus Sean Burke, 5.3 run total. Right now, Sutterfield is the second park in the park factors, so it is looking like a good one, but it's a very small sample size. This park factors has Oracle Park, Giants home at 9th. It has Coors down to 3 or 4 right now. Camden is the best, and we know that's not going to stay exactly like that. Now, the A's Park is definitely playing hitter-friendly. Sean Burke, not great. 7.17 FIP over his last 5. 5.36 over his last 20. Bullpen ERA is up. Can actually absolutely pick on him. Cincinnati versus Kyle Freeland. We got a Colorado game. You got to consider it. Yankees versus Jose Barrios. Barrios can get lit up a little bit. I don't totally hate it. Don't totally love it either. Yankees have struggled a little recently, really getting it going. Colorado versus Andrew Abbott. Andrew Abbott, I don't mind as a pitcher today just because Colorado has been so poor offensively, but it is a Colorado game, so hard for me to really talk up Andrew Abbott. And I don't mind playing in Colorado even when it's not super friendly weather for hitting. Minnesota versus Hendricks, a little interesting. And behind him is a terrible bullpen. Braves versus Gallen, we talked about. Boston and Cleveland, both at 4.5. I'm super interested in both these teams. Toronto versus Carrasco, I love. Outside of that, it's, kind of rough pickings there, but a ton of guys that do carry some interest. That'll do it for us today, guys. We'll be back next week. Happy Friday. Enjoy your weekend. Let's make some money. And I'll talk to y'all later. Peace.